Make a trip to Dollar Tree and grab 2 of these paper towel holders, 2 small baskets, and a pack of these mini cable ties. You'll use the mini cable ties to connect each side of the basket to the holders in 2 different spots per side. We're going to angle the basket slightly downward and elevate the back edge by tightening the ties. And just like that, you've got a functional, stylish, and budget-friendly tiered organizer. Head to the Dollar Tree to grab a paper towel holder, 2 cooling racks, and a pack of mini clothespins. To attach the cooling racks, I'm using some leftover crafting wire because that's what I had on hand today, but zip ties would also work really well for this part. I grabbed pliers to help me cut and twist all of the little wires to hold my cooling racks in place. Make sure the 2 racks are nice and lined up straight. Make sure everything is nice and tight and sturdy, and you're all set. Now let's grab some spray paint and give this whole thing a coat of paint to give it a cohesive look. Wait for your paint to dry, and then your display stand is ready to put to use. This display stand is really versatile and can be used in so many ways around your house. Just use the mini little clothespins that we found in the craft section at Dollar Tree to attach anything you want. One idea is as a photo display. Another idea is to use it as a treat stand. This is a really fun way to display treats either for a party or maybe to organize your snack station in your pantry, and you have a functional, cute, and really versatile idea.
Next time you're at Dollar Tree, scoop up some of the white wire baskets and head over to the kitchen section and grab yourself a paper towel holder. I'm going to take the paper towel holder as well as 2 of their white round baskets. Then I'm going to take the paper towel holder and place it on the bottom like you see here, just so that I can find the middle of the paper towel holder and then cut out the wire basket just in the middle. You want to make sure that it's directly in the middle so that your basket sits straight. You're going to slide it over top of the wire holder, and then you're going to secure it in place with some zip ties at the bottom. Once you have this first basket on the bottom tight and secure, you're next going to take your second wire basket and you're going to line it up on the bottom again and cut out the middle portion of the wire basket. And again, making sure it's directly in the middle so your basket sits straight. You're going to place it on your paper towel holder and put it at your desired height, and then you're going to place some zip ties around the paper towel holder to give it a little bit of a ledge to sit on. So I've used about 4 zip ties here and placed them in place like you see. Then you're going to come in with some E6000 and you're going to secure it all around the zip ties to give it extra security. You're going to let that set for at least 12 to 24 hours, and then you can spray paint it your favorite color. I chose a nice gold here, and I'm using it in my bathroom to store lotions and sprays. But this idea also works great in the kitchen or in your office or anywhere else in your home.
Head on over to the dollar store and grab some paper towel holders for these awesome DIYs. I'm using a command hook. I grabbed a paper towel holder and I placed it onto the command hook. I grabbed my hats and through the loop in the back of the hat, slid it onto the paper towel holder. I continue doing this for multiple hats, and you can fit quite a few on here. It's a great way to organize your hats. For this project, I started with dollar store adhesive and spread it on the bottom of my pencil holders. I repeated this process, so I had a total of 3 pencil holders. While the adhesive was setting, I grabbed some fishing line and I wove it through each of the pencil holders and around the paper towel holder and tied it into place and then cut off the excess string. I grabbed some silverware, spoons, forks, and knives and placed them into each of the pencil holders. Now I have a super fun and easy tote to carry my silverware to and from the table. I started by grabbing a sign from the dollar store, and I removed anything from the front of it that I didn't want. I grabbed some adhesive from the dollar store and I spread it around the base of a paper towel holder. Next, I placed them onto the board together, and I let this set for 24 hours, allowing the adhesive to become nice and solid. I grabbed a hanger and slid it onto the paper towel tubes. Just stack them all on. When you're ready to use one again, simply pull it off, grab your shirt, hang your shirt up in your closet.
To start this project, take a paper towel holder and some zip ties from Dollar Tree. Loop the zip ties around the paper towel stand one by one, evenly spaced and secure in place. Go all the way up the stand with zip ties. Take scissors and cut off the excess of the zip tie. Use a mini hot glue gun to add little dots of hot glue to make sure the zip ties stay in place. Cover the entire stand with gold spray paint and allow plenty of time to dry between coats. When the stand has dried, place it in your desired location and use it as easy storage. For project 2, take a clear adhesive hook from Dollar Tree and a paper towel holder. Add toilet paper rolls and you have easy and inexpensive toilet paper storage. Place scrunchies and hair ties over the top and you have an easy and cheap storage solution. Head to your local Dollar Tree to pick up 2 round baking pans, a bag of marbles, jute rope, twine, 4 gold baskets, and a paper towel holder. Start by hot gluing the paper towel holder in the center of one pan. Hot glue rope starting from the outer edge and work your way in. And work your way up the center of the paper towel holder. Continue gluing and wrapping rope around the paper towel holder until reaching the top. Take twine and baskets and wrap, tie, and secure them on either side of the paper towel holder center. Take the second round pan and pour marbles into it. Place the top pan and the baskets on top. Then use it as you see fit in your home as a spinning produce basket or as a spinning storage for bathroom supplies. There you have it, a cheap way to create your own easy DIY spinning storage for your home for less than $15.
You'll need 4 of these chrome napkin holders, a paper towel holder, a set of these plastic chopping boards, and you can also pick up some zip ties at Dollar Tree as well. First thing is to trace the napkin holder onto the chopping board. I'm going to do this 4 times and then cut out the half circles. Now I'm using a really strong glue. E6000 is great for this task. I'm attaching those pieces of the plastic chopping board to the side of the napkin holder. I'm going to let this dry completely before moving on to the next step. I'm creating a 2-tiered makeup holder here. So I'm going to take 2 of these napkin holders and glue them to the bottom of the paper towel holder. Once that's dry, I'm going to tilt it on its side and attach 2 more toward the top of the paper towel holder. It's really helpful to place a book or something to keep this steady so it doesn't roll around. Once the glue is all dry, for a little added security, I'm going to use some zip ties just on the top 2 napkin holders to make sure when I fill this, it doesn't go anywhere. Now that everything is secure, it's time to add my makeup. I'm putting in some of my most used products, nail polish and hand lotions, and this is gonna go right in my bathroom so it's really easy to access.
Grab some cooling racks, 2 paper towel holders, wood cutting boards, and some baskets from the Dollar Tree. Place a cooling rack in between 2 metal paper towel holders and secure with zip ties. Then add some glue to both of the paper towel holders and the bottom of the wood cutting boards. Adhere the cutting boards to the paper towel holders on both of the sides. Add some glue on top of the cutting boards. Attach the cooling rack to the cutting boards. Stack on and adhere another layer of cutting boards. Then stick on the last cooling rack on top. Add some baskets and now you have a functional and stylish cooling rack organizer. Use this in the bathroom or the kitchen cabinet.
Fast, fun, and budget friendly. You're going to start out by brushing on your favorite stain on the top of the wood circle. I'm using a warm walnut, but any shade works. Let that dry completely. Next, you're going to paint your Lazy Susan base. I chose a navy blue in a chalk paint that I had. Once the stain is completely dry, glue on the handles for a custom touch. No screws needed. Once both pieces are dry, you're going to use the base of the turntable, add some hot glue, and glue down your wooden piece. And that's it. A beautiful custom Lazy Susan for under $10, perfect for your kitchen table, coffee bar, or craft station. Give it a spin and enjoy.
Grab some metal planters and wire trellis from the dollar store. Start by drilling 2 holes in each of the planters. The holes should line up with the vertical wires of the trellis. Once the holes are drilled, you can leave the planters as is or change the look any way you please. You can either paint them or leave them plain, or use double stick tape or hot glue to attach twine, canvas, or ribbon. Then use long zip ties to attach the planters to the trellis. Thread the zip ties through the holes you drilled, pull to tighten, and trim any excess. Your organizer is ready to hang and can be filled with plants, towels, bath accessories, and more.
Here's a home decor hack that costs just a few dollars and looks like something you'd find in a high-end home store. Now, to get the trendy look, you're going to need a can of textured spray paint. Look for one that says stone or concrete finish on the label. Then take both containers outside and give the outsides of each a good coat of that textured spray paint. I like to start with a light misting so it doesn't run at all, and then go back in with a second coat once the first one is dry. You'll also want to flip the bowl over at the end and spray the inside as well. After everything is dry, it's time to assemble. Grab your hot glue gun and attach the pieces together with the taller container upside down and the bowl sitting right on top of it. Hold those in place for a minute until the glue sets firmly. Now here's the magic touch, battery-operated puck lights. I keep a pack of these around all the time because they're so handy for decorating with. You just press them to turn them on and off, and you don't have to mess with any cords or outlets. And just like that, you've got yourself a one-of-a-kind lamp. When you press those puck lights on, the soft glow it gives off is just so cozy. I've seen lamps like this at home stores for $50, $60, even more. This version, just a few bucks and maybe 20 minutes of your time.
Grab some unpainted mini crates at the dollar store for a perfect storage system. Start by arranging the crates in any pattern you like and as large or small as you need. The crates can be vertical or horizontal, with the opening facing forward or on top. Once you have a satisfying arrangement, begin attaching the crates to one another. You can use wood glue or woodworking glue sticks for your hot glue gun. Use clamps to secure and let dry. For added security, staple the crates together using a staple gun. Now it's time to paint. You can use either spray paint or acrylic paint, applying as many coats as you need. Let dry completely. Your storage system is now ready to use. Drill holes in the back to hang on a wall or place on a countertop.
Grab a couple of pizza pans and wooden dowels from the Dollar Tree. Apply black chalk paint to one side of the pizza pan. Turn the pan upside down and apply black chalk paint to the bottom side, and then paint both sides of the other pan as well. Add stronghold glue to the end of one of the dowels and attach it to the border of the pan. Adhere another dowel to the opposite end of the pan. Place glue on the top of each of the dowels. Place and secure the other painted pan on top of the dowels and secure each of the dowels underneath the border of the pan. That's all you have to do to create this easy and stylish side table. Grab zip ties, twine, and a few packs of bamboo rings from the dollar store. Connect and secure 2 large rings and 1 smaller ring in the middle. Attach a 4th ring to the end of the larger set of rings. Bend and shape the rings into a square and secure with a tie. Trim off the extra part of the zip ties. Tie the twine to cover around each of the zip ties on the top and secure with glue. Leave some of the remaining string out. Complete the same process on each of the sides. Gather all of the hanging twine strands and tie them together with a knot. Glue and attach the combined strands of twine to another small hoop ring. That's it. Add your favorite faux or real plant. I hope this inspires you to create your own hoop planter to decorate your space.
At the dollar store, I picked up 2 cutting boards and some mini wood crates. Back at home, I grabbed a scrap piece of wood to use as a base and did a quick dry fit of my idea with all the parts. On hand, I already had a ring of wood beads that I had previously purchased from the dollar store. To test my theory, I unhooked the connection, removed a few beads, and tried the idea out. I randomly picked a spot to drill holes for the wire ring to pass through. Next up, I spray painted the cutting boards and my base piece of scrap wood with white spray paint. Once everything was dry, I used some wood glue to glue the mini crates to my scrap wood base. Just set something heavy atop until the glue dries. The cutting boards were looking a bit too solid for me, so to add some visual interest, I decided to grab my hole saw set. I know I should have done this before painting. Choosing the largest hole cutting size and grabbing my corded drill, I drilled out big giant holes. After a quick little cleanup of frayed edges with a sanding block around the holes, I then did a touch-up of spray paint. Assembly was super simple. I used the wood glue again on the joints, lined everything up, and using a couple of clamps to hold it all steady while it dried. Give it all plenty of time to set so you don't end up with a wobbly caddy. Now for the handle, this is my favorite part. To attach it, remove most of the beads and feed the end through one of the small holes. Thread most of the beads back onto the wire, feed the wire through the other hole. Add the remaining beads, then twist together to secure it underneath. It makes carrying your caddy around super easy, and honestly, it just looks cool. For a little extra function and some personality, I glued on a few dollar store mini clothespins with a strong adhesive. You can use these to hold recipes, reminder notes, coupons, even those little snack bags that always get lost in the shuffle. If you're using this in your craft space, clip up small patterns, color swatches, or ribbons. The best part about this project is how customizable it is. Paint or stain the boards any color you like, add more boxes or swap in baskets for a different vibe, and there you go, a quick budget-friendly caddy from just a handful of dollar store finds.
The Dollar Tree is full of hidden gems when it comes to organizing, so I headed to my local Dollar Tree to see what I could find. Next, I headed over to the tool and hardware section and picked up this plastic hardware storage case. At home, I gathered all our hair accessories that were in random places and added them to the container. All the little rubber bands, bobby pins, clips, and other accessories fit perfectly, and now it's all in one easy to find spot. In the cleaning section, I grabbed this mop and broom holder. At home, I removed the backing and stuck it to the inside of my vanity cabinet door around the middle of the door. I wrapped up my hot tools and hung them. They're now out of the way, which is perfect for my small bathroom. I headed first to the office section and picked up this wire letter organizer. I placed it on a bench in my living room near where I had a power strip plugged in. I plugged in several chargers, then filled the organizer with my laptop and a couple tablets. It turned this empty bench into a wonderful charging station for our home. I grabbed this plastic flower holder in the floral section, then I added some black rocks I found in that same section to the bottom to weigh it down. I added my makeup brushes, and now it's the perfect DIY makeup brush holder. In the kitchen organization section, I grabbed a couple of these wine bottle holders. Then I used them to help organize water bottles and mason jars in my cabinet. They're great quality and almost identical to the ones I brought from Amazon. In the back to school section, I found these little storage containers that have a snap-on lid. They're perfect for helping me organize my supplement, tea/coffee cabinet. The smaller container was great for storing my drink packets, while the larger one helped with extra tea bags. Now that cabinet is much more organized. I picked up this plastic vanity organizer and knew it would be the perfect piece to help organize the center console of my car. I added hair ties, travel, a leave, lotion, loose change, and more.
Grabbed some cork placemats. I want to paint the back sides of the placemats white. I'm going to be decoupaging over this side, so I need a nice, clean and bright surface for under the napkins. Now that the paint is dry, it's time to start working with the napkins. With the napkin layers apart, so I'm going to give each napkin a little bit of a softer look. I can use a fine paintbrush and water to do this. Now that my napkins are ready, it's time to start attaching them to the cork placemat. I'm using a transfer and decoupage gel. Now that the decoupage medium is dry, I can start to remove the excess pieces of napkins. The final thing I need to do is brush a layer of the decoupage medium over the entire surface.
Grab one of these 3-drawer bins from Walmart. I picked up some half-round pieces of wood, and I need to cut them down to roughly 4.5 inches each. Now it's time to attach them to the drawers. So I'm just gonna put a dab of glue on each piece of wood and put them all the way across the drawer. Now that everything's dry, I'm gonna take this outside and add a coat of spray paint.
Grab some collapsible storage cubes from Walmart and some paint stir sticks. Measure the width of your storage cube. Using a utility knife, score the measurement line. Make these cuts on all of your paint sticks. Sand the cut ends of the sticks so there are no rough edges. Wipe some wood stain on the top and sides of each paint stick. Let them dry completely. Lay the paint sticks on the side of an open storage cube. Start to glue each stir stick to the storage cube panel with a hot glue gun. Next time you are at Walmart, grab a large plastic bowl or pasta bowl and a cereal bowl. Flip the large bowl over and apply a ring of clear adhesive glue around the perimeter of the bowl bottom to secure the two bowls together. Take some decorative rope and hot glue it around the center where the two bowls meet. Fill this bowl with water and add some floating candles. Time to break out of jail. That is, the Walmart ball jail. You also need some green reindeer moss. Start by spray painting the Walmart ball with moss green spray paint. Separate the large pieces and stretch out any chunks that are thick. With a can of general spray adhesive, spritz a small portion of the ball with the adhesive. Take a small patch of green moss and press it onto the ball in the sticky area. Press and hold for a few seconds to make sure it sticks. Continue to spray the ball and attach the green moss to the outside. Once you cover the entire ball with spray adhesive and moss, give the entire moss-covered ball an overall coat of the spray adhesive.
Head on over to your local Walmart and grab their $7 mirror. Place the mirror directly in the center of the table just as you would a regular table runner. Clean off the mirror with some glass cleaner to remove any fingerprints or smudges. Then start styling your table.
You want to pick up 2 bowls. Make sure they are ceramic or glass and that they are heat proof. I took them home and I'm going to give them a coat of spray paint. Once the paint is dry, these bowls have a really nice textured look. I'm just going to use some really strong glue to adhere them together. In the top bowl, I am going to add 3 wicks. I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue to secure them to the bottom. Then I'm going to grab 2 wooden skewers and wrap the wick around the skewers. This is just going to hold everything in place. Great way to make your own candles is to reuse existing candle wax. I have a couple of these Dollar Tree tall pillar candles and I'm going to place them in some boiling water. Now make sure you're wearing gloves. These can get really hot. And I'm just going to gently boil this until all the wax is melted. Pour the wax from all the candles into a metal container with a handle. I'm opting to add a little essential oil for some scent. And now we're just going to pour that melted wax. Then you're going to want to walk away for about 24 hours. When it is completely set, you can trim the wicks down and use your candle.
Take a fabric placemat and flip it over. Using the storage cube insert, trace around the insert on the placemat. Once traced, cut the fabric square from the placemat. With a hot glue gun, glue the placemat square to the side of the open storage cube. Take some favorite yarn and make a pom-pom with a pom-pom maker. Using a large needle or upholstery needle, thread one tail of the pom-pom and insert it through the upper center of the glued placemat through the storage cube, and knot the 2 tails together on the inside of the storage cube.
Let's run on down to Walmart and it's time to grab your favorite inexpensive bucket. We got to get those handles off. Next, we're going to take that bucket and flip it over. We need to set in 2 strips of wood that are going to fit right on the edge. Next, stick them on there, make sure they fit. Then you can use some hot glue. Just flip it over and press it against the plastic. So do that to both pieces right on the edge and just hold it down till it sets. Next, flip the bucket over and what you're going to do is grab just some small little screws. So just take your drill and put it right in. 2 or 3 in each strip of wood will be just right, and that's going to hold it in place. Now it's time to put on the wheels, and we're going to mark it 1 inch from each side of the wood. We're going to put 4 of these legs on, and we're going to drill it. Now it's time to take that hot glue, put it right on the edge of the hole there, and put the leg on. Look at this. They are excellent. Now it's time to go ahead and decorate the bucket. Just take again our favorite hot glue, put it right on the edge, just stick it right on there. Just go ahead and set it all the way around, and we're going to go around the whole bucket. Once you get that on, it's time to take a little bit of your inexpensive fabric, cut about 12 inches wide. We're going to use that hot glue again, and we're going to fold over the edge. What we're going to do is fold it over the bucket. It's going to cover all that plastic. Get that glue right on that last bit of rope right there. We're going to take this all the way around the bucket. Today's project is going to require some clothespins and a small bucket. The clothespins are easy to take apart. All we have to do is use some hot glue. We're going to do that with multiple amounts all the way around. Now on the bottom, I'll grab some rope from Dollar Tree, put a little bit of hot glue, push it in place. Just keep going all the way around. Now it comes time for staying. Next, we need a wood or plastic hanger. I took a square, put it against the inside edge, and marked 90 degrees. We're actually going to cut on this line. Once we do that, turn your bucket over, and then we're going to hot glue our legs on. If we do 4 of these across from each other, it makes it nice and steady and stable. Put one of those last bits of rope that I have on there, bring it around to the front, and I'm going to tie a knot on it.
Let's create an anthropology dupe. So I'm going to grab a couple different styles of this pretty paper and I'm going to cut it into 4-inch squares. Now I'm going to paint a thin coat of Mod Podge onto a white ceramic tile. Now I'm going to press these two together, seal them in really good, get any bubbles out. Now I'm going to come back and add a top coat of Mod Podge. I'm going to repeat this with about 35 tiles. I cut a piece of plywood to size and I'm going to paint the top using a white chalk paint. Now I'm going to place a full-length mirror right in the middle. Now to attach the mirror to the wood, I'm using Gorilla Glue. Once I've got the mirror down, I'm adding this board and some weight, and I'm going to let this set for 24 hours. Now I'm going to dry fit the tiles into a pattern around the mirror. For the corners, where I have a little bit of a smaller space, I'm actually just going to use a square of paper. So the first thing I'm doing is adding a little bit of water to the wood with a paintbrush. Now for the tiles, I'm using Gorilla Glue again, and then the two are pressed together. And I'm going to let the whole thing set for 24 hours. Grab a plastic bin from Walmart for this project. I'm going to start by drilling a few holes into the side of the bin. This is going to be for handles down the road. Then I'm going to flip the bin over and I'm going to drill 4 holes, one in each corner of the plastic bin. I want to dress this bin up, so I picked up some gray and white patterned fabric. And I've cut it down to size so that it is the right height of the bin. Now I'm going to use some spray adhesive to adhere the fabric to the plastic. When I get to the corners, I am going to cut up the side, and then I can just fold these two pieces over each other, creating a really nice looking seam. To add the handles, I'm going to locate the hole that I drilled with my finger and then just poke through the fabric with a pair of scissors. Now I can thread the jute through and tie a knot on the inside to secure it in place. Now I'm going to add some feet to the bottom to raise this up off the ground and just make it look a little nicer.
Grab some hot glue and put a bead of glue along one side of your lampshade, and then add some twine or jute. And we're going to wrap that around the lampshade until we cover the entire thing. After you have all your tassels made, we are going to add these to the bottom of our lampshade. And I decided to hot glue these. You could use a needle and thread and tie them and sew them on the edge, but this worked out perfect. You are going to simply trim off the excess tails.
Grab a can of shaving cream and a lampshade. Shake up a can of shaving cream and spray it into an aluminum tray that has sides. Using a squeegee, smooth out the shaving cream in the tray. Next, prepare your dye colors. You can use ready mixed or mix it yourself. Using a dropper, I used a turkey baster, drop bits of the dye onto the top of the smooth shaving cream. Take your lampshade and slowly roll the shade in the dye-covered shaving cream. Once you are satisfied with the color of the shade, rinse the shade thoroughly with water in the sink.
We are going to make some beautiful home decor items using clear Elmer's glue. We are going to fill this vase with the clear glue. Then we're going to add in some clear and white decorative pebbles. Now I'm going to grab some faux flowers. Now I'm just going to stick these into that glue. Once you've got them arranged just right, set this aside and let it dry.
Take a bowl and cover the bottom in plastic wrap. Next, use a sponge brush and Mod Podge. Cover the entire bowl base with Mod Podge on the plastic wrap. Take rope and begin from the center of the base and wind it around towards the outer part of the bowl. Once completely dry, remove rope layer from the bowl and any excess plastic wrap.
What I did was I laid out some cardboard, spray painted it a couple of times to make both boards the exact same length. You're gonna take your first hula hoop that's already painted, and you're gonna set it on top of the boards. Then what we're gonna do is drill through all 4 corners here. You're gonna put one of your hooks in with it. Make sure it's facing up and you'll screw it through it. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Now what we're gonna do is turn it around and do the other side. We're gonna take a little bit of dab of glue right next to the screw. Take the rope and just gently wrap it around the loop.
You know all those lonely donated lampshades pick up a matching pair. Pick up a thrifted belt, run a bead of clear glue around the perimeter, take the other lampshade, place it on top of the other lampshade, take some jute twine and tie the inner hardware of the two lamps together. Give the connected shades a little shake to make sure they are securely connected. Take the belt and buckle it around the skinny center of the two lampshades. Add a little glue to the loose end of the belt and secure it to the rest of the belt. Find a thin wood circle disc. Paint the edge with some acrylic paint. And peel and stick wallpaper is perfect for this project. Next time you are at Walmart, grab a large plastic bowl or pasta bowl and a cereal bowl. Flip the large bowl over and apply a ring of clear adhesive glue around the perimeter of the bowl bottom to secure the two bowls together. Take some decorative rope and hot glue it around the center where the two bowls meet. Fill this bowl with water and add some floating candles.
Today's project starts with a pool noodle. We're going to take a piece of duct tape and use that to hold it in place. Once we got our three rings together, we're going to stack them up. Once I get that, I'm going to cut some more pool noodles and they're going to stack inside. We need them to be level with the top. Start on the outside and work your way to the end. Now you're going to start on one end and go ahead and slice your tape and put it on the bottom. Go across the three pool noodles, across the top, down the bottom. We're actually going to need to cover the whole thing in duct tape because we're going to need to apply some hot glue to it. And then right in the middle, I'm going to put a first dab of hot glue. I'm going to take this rope right here, this cotton rope, and go ahead and put it on there.
Grab a waste paper can that has a flat bottom. Spray paint it any color you want. Flip the painted trash can upside down and glue a melamine charger plate. Once secure, apply clear adhesive glue to the perimeter. Center a woven placemat on top of the charger.
Let's head over to Dollar Tree and we're going to grab a paper towel holder. Let's all run down to the hardware store and grab us a wood round. Gotta sand the edges. Got to condition the wood. Let it dry about 30 minutes to an hour. Once it dries, it's time to put on some stain. We're going to get 3 of those paper towel holders and we're going to set them in place. What we need to do is paint them. Once we get it all painted, let it dry. Now we got to curve the edges a little bit and bend them. Don't bend them too far, just get them a little 20 degrees and we're going to do all 3 at the same angle. Now we're going to put them in place on the bottom of our wood round. And I'm going to take these little electric hooks that I got out of the hardware store and I'm going to put 4 all the way around each side of these circles here. And once I got them marked, I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill. I'm going to go ahead and put little tiny screws in and hold these clips in place. And I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue. And then I'm going to take some twine. I'm going to set it there and then I'm going to start wrapping it all the way around.
I'm going to rip down all the fabric off of my lampshade. So I'm going to take it outside and give it a quick spray paint. And then after that, I decided I needed to spray paint one more thing. And that was a mason jar sealing part of the lid that I'm going to use later on. I'm going to take this wood slice. I'm going to give this a good coat of sealer. I'm also going to do like the live edges. And once that's all sealed, it's going to be time to grab that mason jar lid and drill a tiny hole in the middle. And now it's time to assemble. I have some E6000 industrial glue that I'm putting in a little hole where like a finial for a lamp would go. And that's where I'm going to kind of adhere that mason jar sealer. I'm going to put some more E6000 glue along the rim here. So I'll go ahead and set that down. Got it in place. And now it's time to drill. It's all good. Going to flip it up.
You want to pick up 2 bowls. Make sure they are ceramic or glass and that they are heat proof. I took them home and I'm going to give them a coat of spray paint. Once the paint is dry, these bowls have a really nice textured look. I'm just going to use some really strong glue to adhere them together. In the top bowl, I am going to add 3 wicks. I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue to secure them to the bottom. Then I'm going to grab 2 wooden skewers and wrap the wick around the skewers. This is just going to hold everything in place. Great way to make your own candles is to reuse existing candle wax. I have a couple of these Dollar Tree tall pillar candles and I'm going to place them in some boiling water. Now make sure you're wearing gloves. These can get really hot. And I'm just going to gently boil this until all the wax is melted. Pour the wax from all the candles into a metal container with a handle. I'm opting to add a little essential oil for some scent. And now we're just going to pour that melted wax. Then you're going to want to walk away for about 24 hours. When it is completely set, you can trim the wicks down and use your candle.
time to break out of jail. That is, the Walmart ball jail. You also need some green reindeer moss. Start by spray painting the Walmart ball with moss green spray paint. Separate the large pieces and stretch out any chunks that are thick. With a can of General Spray adhesive, spritz a small portion of the ball with the adhesive. Take a small patch of green moss and press it onto the ball in the sticky area. Press and hold for a few seconds to make sure it sticks. Continue to spray the ball and attach the green moss to the outside. Once you cover the entire ball with spray adhesive and moss, give the entire moss-covered ball an overall coat of the spray adhesive.
We're going to start today's DIY with a remote-controlled light bulb. So we're going to take that little holster and we're going to glue that to the top with hot glue. And then we're going to put in our light bulb. We're going to take a clamp so that we can add that on top in order to hold your lampshade. Take that finial piece, screw that back on so it's nice and snug.
You're not going to believe what I did with mini lights and a hula hoop. I spray painted one side of the hula hoop green, I let it dry, flipped it over, and spray painted the other side. Once dry, I used a green zip tie to attach faux vine greenery to the hula hoop. Next, I tied jute around the hula hoop and strung it across the hoop to the other side. I wrapped it around a couple of times and then strung it back and tied it where I started. I did this 3 more times, evenly dividing the sections of where I tied the jute and crossing at the same spot in the center. With each of the long ends, I tied them to either side of the ring of the mason jar. Next, I glued jute weaving around the battery pack of mini string lights, wrapped the lights around, and then I stuffed it in each mason jar. I attached the mason jars to the ring and hung it all up.
I found these candlestick holders. Now I'm going to come back in with a very generous amount of hot glue. So after giving that a few minutes, we can design with some flowers and greenery. And lastly, our element of surprise, and that involves a charger plate.
Just what I need for my latest project, hula hoops. Take some metallic paint that's made for plastics. I'm going to paint these gold.
Now you're going to want to get some kind of a clear sealer spray with a light coat of the glaze.
Right here, we're going to drill a hole in each side. I'm going to put one hoop inside the other and try and line up my holes where I have drilled. And I'm going to go outside and push all the way through, and then I'm going to push it through the next one. So I have it through 2 hoops. There we go. I have it through all 3, and then before it slips back off, I'm going to put a nut on that. And when I paint these, this will get painted also. I'm going to take a dollar store decorative cake tray and put a small hole in it. It's on high temperature, and I'm just going to put it right in the middle of there. And that is probably all we need. And now I'm going to try and put this right over top of that. Take some Gorilla Clear Grip contact adhesive to secure the plate right here to my hula hoop. And I'm going to put a generous amount wherever these hoops meet. I have just hung it from my garage door with some wire. So now I can go to work on the easy part. The construction of this was the hard part.
Here we have a child's hula hoop that we picked up at the dollar store. So in order to secure our flowers, we're going to have to work in a pool noodle. And all we're going to do is cut through one side of the pool noodle. So what we're going to do is open it up and work it right inside the hula hoop, and we're going to circulate the pool noodle all the way around. So once you get all the way around, you're going to notice that we have a little spot missing. We're going to cut into a second pool noodle and do the same exact process. We can just take some tape and we're going to secure the 2 pieces together. Now I just have some white satin ribbon. To secure it, I'm going to use a couple floral pins, and I'm going to add some hot glue to the ends to really make sure it's nice and permanent. Now what we can do is start wrapping this. Now it's time to enhance this, and all we're going to do is snip off each individual stem. I added a generous amount of hot glue, and all we're going to do is just lift up the ribbon and poke it right in. Up next, we have some dogwood flowers. Now I have this hanging foliage, so we're going to take it, add a little bit of hot glue, just working it underneath the ribbon. To hang this up, I'm going to use some of our wire.
I'm going to just start and wrap this over and under the front edge. I'm going to take my wisteria and I'm going to lay it here the way I want, and then I'm just gonna take zip ties. Those will hold securely even in the wind. I'm just gonna tuck that down out of the way for right now. Now these are more like a wisteria bush, and I'm gonna spread this out a little, and I'm just gonna add this one right to the middle in the front right here. And I'm just going to continue to add these right along the front like so. I bought some beautiful silk peony bushes, and I'm going to cut them apart, spread these out, and I'm going to tuck these right in for some beautiful color.
I grabbed this big hula hoop from Five Below. So I'm going to take this first one, place it there. We're going to do the same thing to a second one, and we're going to place this in an opposite motion. We're going to place this on either end again. Just take our zip tie, and we're going to keep the pointy end towards the surface. We're going to just snip off our ribbon, and now it's time to create the main portion of our bow. So this is non-wired ribbon. It is a little bit different to use as it doesn't hold its shape, but after making about 3 to 5 loops on either side, we're going to have the perfect bow, and that is good enough for me. Let's finish our final loop. To secure our bow, we're going to use a piece of wire. Take our tails that we pre-cut and just tuck them underneath our bow. Twist it secure. We can just secure that right on top of the zip tie and tie that wire together. We're going to just lift up the greenery we've already worked in, tuck it underneath, and use another zip tie to keep that in place.
Head to your local Dollar Tree and grab a candlestick, some small plastic plates, a styrofoam block, and some floral pieces. First, you'll want to attach the top of the plate to the candlestick. I just use simple hot glue for this. Then you're going to want to spray paint the piece to the color of your liking. Let it dry completely and then attach the styrofoam block to the finished paper plate. I use B7000 glue for this. Then remove all the stems from the floral pieces using wire cutters. You can then attach these floral pieces into the styrofoam block all around the plate.
So we're going to start with some bricks of dry floral foam. This is a glue skillet. And then we'll take those 2 bricks and we're going to stick them together. Now that we've given it a minute, now we can come back in with more hot glue and we're going to secure this to the base of the container. Now we'll give this a minute to harden up. Now we have this beautiful hanging geranium bush. So we're going to start by taking the stem and just working it right into the styrofoam. Up next, we're going to work in some delphinium. Now we have some of these pretty pink flowers. So these are just inexpensive filler bushes. And to bring out a little bit more pink, we're going to use this ranunculus bush. So we're just going to take this whole bush, find the perfect spot, and then we can separate the flowers.
The next time you're at the thrift store, don't pass by the vase aisle with grabbing some of the globe-shaped vases. I'm going to make sure I give them a good clean. Came in with this Americana Enchanted paint, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint all the glass vases that I bought with just a nice light coat. Now you do want to make sure that you buy pots that have holes in the bottom. That's very important. And then I'm going to come in with some heavy strength Gorilla Glue here and apply it to the bottom of the terracotta pot, and then I'm going to put my globe on top of that. Then I picked up these fairy solar lights off of Amazon, and this is why you want the hole in the bottom of the terracotta pot, because I'm going to be threading the fairy lights through this hole up into the globe.
You'll need 10 hangers for this project. Place the hangers in a triangle shape. Add 3 zip ties, 1 to the peak and 2 to the hooks. You'll need to repeat this process until you have 5 sets of hangers. Place the hanger sets into a star shape. Now it's time to connect all the edges. I wrap the entire star in lights.
Go ahead and grab yourself a tomato cage and also grab some wood shims. Grab a scrap board, take the thick end, you're going to get a nice clean hole, and we're going to do this to all of our shims. What we're going to do is take a towel and just dip it in there, make sure it's all covered. Just wipe it on there. The sticky points that go into the ground, we don't need those. It's just going to snap right off. Now we're going to grab us some copper wire. We're going to put that through the shim with the hole in it. Just use it like a twist tie. Go all the way around. Once you get the second layer done, we're going to grab us a solar light from Dollar Tree. Take off that small part on the bottom, the stake, we don't need that, and let it float right in the middle. Now we're going to work on that last circle.
I ran down to Home Depot and picked up some beautiful flowers as well as 2 of these different hanging baskets. I removed the chain from both of the baskets and ended up removing the insert from one of the baskets. I opened everything up, placed my flowers inside, closed it again with the top frame on the top, lined up the holes, and added zip ties to hold everything together securely. My next step was to add the lights. These are solar powered lights, so they'll work great when I use them outside. Once it was all wrapped and ready, I was able to just let it sit in the sun for a few hours so that it could charge up.
Pick up 1 garden border from your local Dollar Tree. Cut the spike bases off. Add small black zip ties to attach the wreath form to the border fence. Wrap the border fence with small twinkle lights all the way around. Add greenery of choice around the top of the border fence with hot glue. So to start this project, we're going to take 2 of these decorative mirrors and found these 2 hexagon frames from Dollar Tree. So we're going to first disassemble and we're going to spray paint. And all we're going to be doing is we're going to be gluing this decorative mirror to this frame. We're going to take some LED puck lights. They come with these little sheets of adhesive, and we are going to secure it to the back here.
You're not going to believe what I made with this plunger and funnel. I removed the wood stick from the plunger and flipped the rubber end inside out. I drew a circle on the top. I cut out the circle and trimmed the edges and spray painted it with Rust-Oleum black spray paint. While that was drying, I cut and sanded 1x6 wood planks. I attached the painted rubber plunger piece to the barnwood with 4 black screws. Next, I cut the wood plunger handle and I screwed it into the plunger part. I attached the funnel to the wood plunger handle. I used hot glue and attached a battery-operated puck light.
Next time you're at the thrift store, pick yourself up a couple of lampshades. To begin my project, I just took apart the lampshade, so I just began with some scissors, cutting apart the fabric and ripping it off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this little knob back on. Then I'm going to go ahead here with a hot glue gun, just going to attach this faux moss onto the wired parts. I came in with these solar fairy lights and wrapped them all around my lampshade.
Let's head down to our local hardware store and grab a 3-inch pipe. What I need to do is cut this in half. Easy to do since it's 2 foot long. We're just take a little bit of 80 grit sandpaper, rub it all the way around, and it'll smooth it. We are going to go randomly around the pipe and drill holes. So as you can see, as we start to paint, we got small, medium, and large. And now I grab some little Jenga pieces, use this scrap piece of wood that I have, and I'm going to glue these down. Once we get it all glued up, I'm going to take some black spray paint and paint this wood. Take some hot glue, and again, I got some rope from the dollar store. I'm going to go ahead and glue that on the inside of the pipe. Now just keep wrapping that string all the way around. That's going to be our little barrier that's going to hold our light in. Now it's time to take that board we painted, turn it around, and we're just going to put a mounting hook on the back. We're going to take some hot glue, we're going to take our pipe, center it, and go ahead and push it down firmly.
The next time you are at your local dollar store, pick up some wire garden hanging baskets. Turn one wire basket upside down and place on top of a second basket. Secure together by using 3 zip ties that are placed equidistant from each other. Take a string of LED lights, hang the battery box inside the basket globe and connect to the top. Turn the lights on and wrap the lights evenly around the globe, both vertically and horizontally. Secure the end of the light string to the basket using a twist tie. Using a leafy garland of your choice, start to tuck and glue the different leaves to the wire basket globe. Now, remember all those chains and hooks that you removed from the baskets? Let's put them to good use. Reconnect these chains of different lengths to the hooks and tighten the hook back together using some pliers. If you have a porch swing, here is a fun way to hang the globes without drilling additional holes into your porch ceiling. Thread the stick through your porch swing ceiling hooks to create a horizontal rod.
You're going to need some dollar store solar lights. Flip the bowl upside down and we need to remove the label. Next, I'm gonna focus on the solar light. So we just take the stem off. We're not even gonna need that. You need to open up the solar light and pull out the tag so that the solar light works. Then you can place that back on and this part is ready to be used. This will be the base of our project. What I'll be using for this project for weight are these dollar store rocks. So I'm gonna be placing them inside. For the next step, I'm gonna place the solar light in top like this. I'll go ahead and add a few more rocks to this. So what I'm gonna do is add a little dab of hot glue on each corner, like so. I'm gonna take that bowl and flip it upside down and place it right there on top so it's centered. So just to show you, if I remove this out, you can see here, I would be able to pull this off and replace this easily with another dollar store solar light if this burns out at some point.
So I picked up a couple of these dollar store solar lights and I'm gonna take them apart. I just need that kind of crystal plastic part and the top. So I'm gonna cover the light bulb on the bottom and then I'm gonna cover the solar panel on top and then use a craft knife to cut around it so you get perfectly straight lines. This is a 7-inch basic embroidery hoop. So I'm gonna untwist this screw and put that aside. I'm taking them outside and I am adding a couple coats of a matte black spray paint. Make sure they're fully dry to the touch and now we can assemble. So first we want to remove the painter's tape so that these solar lights work. On the clear plastic part, there are 2 little clips that help attach it to the top. And I'm just going to take some floral wire and wrap it around each one of those clips. Wrap it nice and tight so it hugs the plastic closely. And then I'm able to screw the black part back on top and the wire is still going to hang out either side. I picked this chain up at the craft store. It is actually in the jewelry section. I'm going to thread the chain through the screw and tighten it about halfway. The solar light is going to hang from the inside hoop. So I'm just going to use my floral wire and wrap it around that hoop. Now I can put this middle hoop, the smaller hoop, back inside the larger one. Now once everything's in place, I can tighten this screw. Grab a couple buckets from Dollar Tree. I'm going to add points values to each bucket using a Sharpie, starting with 10 and going up to 50. Now I can just place these buckets in a line outside and we can have a friendly game of bucket ball toss. I picked up some pool noodles from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start by forming 3 of the noodles into a ring. I'm going to create 3 rings. Now I'm using some twine to tie each of those rings together. Then I'm going to add a pool noodle to each side, again securing it with twine. This is going to allow my ring toss game to stand up vertically. Outside, I need a way to stand this up. So I grabbed some driveway stakes. Then I can just slide the 2 vertical noodles over those stakes, and this is going to hold up really well. Then we can create a game around tossing balls through the rings. I'm going to start with some plastic plates from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to draw X's on half of them and O's on the other half. Now I'm gonna head outside and just use a can of spray paint to draw a tic-tac-toe board. The spray paint will either wash off or it'll come off the next time I mow the lawn. Then we can just play tic-tac-toe.
Grab some balloons, satin ribbon, and glue dots at your local dollar store. Measure and cut the ribbon. Blow up a whole bunch of balloons, tie them off, and add satin ribbons to the end. Cut small pieces of painter's tape. Press the top of the balloon to the tape with the attached glue dot. Buy a tension rod at a big box store. Fit and adjust the tension rod at the top of an open doorway and then pick up some crepe paper. Start to tie the crepe paper onto the tension rod by folding the paper in half, wrapping the middle loop around the rod, and then pulling the tails through the loop. You can then add other party decorations depending on the theme of your party. Next time you're at the grocery store, pick up a 2-liter bottle of your favorite soda, but save the plastic 2-liter bottle. After cleaning the empty bottle, remove the outer label, cut off the top of the plastic bottle using the marking as your guide. Slip your glass bottle into the cut plastic bottle and pour water into the space between the two bottles. Take a fresh flower and cut off the stem so you're left with just the bloom. Slide this flower facing out into the water-filled crevice between the bottles. Continue to add blooms around the entire bottle. Place the bottle into the freezer and let it freeze. I left mine in the freezer for 4 hours. Take the bottle out of the freezer and run a bit of warm water over the outside of the bottle. Then you can easily peel away the plastic bottle.
Start with a piece of white poster board. I'm going to cut these in half. Using a yardstick and a pencil, I'm going to trace out my letters. So now I'm going to grab a piece of white foam board. I am going to measure out about 3.5-inch strips. Then back on my letter N, I'm going to use some hot glue, make an outline of the entire letter all the way around. I'm going to take one of those foam board strips and my craft knife, and I am going to score just one side, but I'm not going to cut all the way through the foam. Once that's done, I'm going to slowly bend at each score line. So once I have this done, I can again use hot glue and apply the border all the way around the curved number here. Now that the letters and numbers are complete, it is time to fill them in. First way is with lights to make them true marquee letters. Now to add a little color to the marquee letters, I am going to use balloons for the name.